there everybody, it's Kathy Champion and you're back with me on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Gastonia, North Carolina, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to go over just a couple of things before we get started with our project today. One of them is our host code, and this month, because we do have a longer month, I decided to break it up into 2-week increments. So I'm going to go from the 1st to the 15th of March with this host code, and then this one will be closed out, and on the 16th we'll have a new one that will carry us through the end of the month. The reason for that is the host codes expire rather quickly, and I don't want to take the chance of not everybody getting in. So just remember, we'll have 2 different host codes for the month of March. You don't have to worry about anything except go and look for the host code for that particular time. It will be listed underneath each video, as well as on my blog. Again, I'm having difficulties with my blog. I got to give those people a call and discuss some things, and if I can't get this ironed out, I'm probably going to change services, but for right now, that's neither here nor there. Okay, I'm so excited, so excited. The butterfly bouquet is finally available for you to order. March the 2nd through May the 3rd. Now, the reason it's only running through May 3rd is because this stamp set and die set will be in the new annual catalog, but these papers will not. So the papers, I think the paper, somebody said they only run for March, but let me check. Let me check this out. I gotta read the fine print, y'all. This is only available while supplies last. So they only, I guess they only created so much of this particular paper, and once it's gone, it's gone. And from what I gather, they're not bringing this back. They did say it was only going to be available through March. I guess they're anticipating it to sell out that quick. So if you want that paper, and oh my gosh, y'all seen me work with that paper, it is to die for. But you can buy the items individual. You can bundle them. You can buy your papers, or you can get the entire collection. For $71.25, you get a pack of the butterfly bijou. I'll say it right in a minute. Paper. You get that natural, what is it called? Natural birch paper, and there it's got a very different feel to it. Beautiful as a background, and then you also get the stamps and the dies. And I am here to tell you, you're going to want those dies because they are gorgeous. And if you bundle, you know, you save 10%, so that's always a win-win. So I wanted to let y'all know that the butterfly bouquet is available, so run grab it now because it's going to be gone fast. Alright, enough of that. Now let's go ahead and get to, I did lay out the stamp set. And this is all one stamp. I don't know if any of y'all know that, but this is one big stamp. And somebody suggested, you know, you could buy 2 of them because they're not that expensive. They're like $17. And you could cut your butterflies apart and have, you know, the butterflies where you could stamp them individual. And that's totally a preference. It's up to you. I would say that if you got this one, you're more than likely going to be wanting to cut them all out at one time. So it's a preference. But if you're only needing one butterfly, and that was something you wanted to do, then that would be good. This is something I do. I keep my sticker page because this fits perfectly over top of your sticker sheets. And I just lay mine back down like that and put it into my case. And what that does, this keeps they peel off of that part of the paper really well, and it protects your the sticky part of your stamp set. Okay, with all of that being said, I have a project to bring to y'all today. You are going to need some Stays-On ink. We sell Stays-On ink in the store. You're going to need a laminating pouch, and you probably can't see that. Let me pull over a piece of cardstock. That makes it a little more visible. These laminating pouches, I got mine on Amazon, and I will link that below in the video description. And I got like a big, huge box of them for, I don't know, they were not that expensive. But these work really good. These are the 5 mil. They usually come in 3 and 5, and these were 5. You might want, if you're using these, you may want to use an anti-static something or other, or a dryer sheet, anything to keep the static from building up on this. But what we're going to do, we're going to stamp on here, and I'm going to show you, we can stamp and then close that up inside the pouch and make a beautiful window card. So it works out really, really good. Let me grab a stamp set, and I want one that's going to give me a very good showing on the front of the card. And the prized peony would be one, and also the flowering blooms. I think I might use the flowering blooms since I had played with this one and I already inked up the stamp. I have some StazOn ink cleaner or stamp cleaner on order, but it hasn't gotten here yet. But the StazOn will stain your stamp. As you can see, here's my other stamps. That's one that's been used in StazOn. The stamp is not dirty, it's stained. So it doesn't hurt your stamps, it just stains them. So I had thought about doing the prized peony, but I think I want to wait. I don't want to get my stamps all dirty unnecessarily, and I can show you this technique with this stamp that I've already played with. So we're going to actually, I want to stamp 2 of these because I want to show you 2 different techniques. And this is my box of sheets. As you can see, it's a huge box. And they're wrapped up inside in plastic like this. And you just reach in and pull out 1 or 2 or 3. I think once you get them up, I usually go in from the edge and pull 1 out. And I think I got, yeah, I did. I got more than 1. I usually always do, but then I just slide it back in, just like that. Now, this is a good buy, and this is not something that Stampin' Up carries, but this isn't an option for your stamping, and I love a new technique. I absolutely love a new technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over, and you want to get something to sit on top. So I'm going to use my mouse, since it's right here, and then I'm going to bring something down right here. Let's see. I need something heavy, but something that would lay, maybe my glue bottle, because I need that to lay flat. That looks pretty good, but I want to straighten it up because, you know, it's hard enough to stamp straight. Okay, I think that'll work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a stamp block, and I'm going to go ahead and load up my stamp. Now, do remember that this is StazOn ink. StazOn ink is a solvent ink. It dries really fast, which is great for this. Let me run over and turn my laminator on, because we're going to laminate this, and if you have a laminator, you know that it takes a little while for them to heat up. So I press my button on my laminator, and my laminator is across my craft room, so that's why I had to get up. And I'm not going to film running it through the laminator. Everybody's laminator is different. Mine is a little cheapo. It's a Scotch. And I think I picked it up at Walmart for like $17. So laminators are not expensive. You can buy expensive laminators, but if you are, you know, a crafter like I am, I don't see where you need the industrial strength laminator, but it's a preference. Your StazOn ink has this little protective cover over it. Whenever you get your StazOn, do not throw that away. That needs to always stay over your ink. So I just drop that into the lid so that I don't lose it. And then I'm going to ink up the stamp. Give it a really good ink. The reason you want to ink it up really good is you only have one opportunity to get this. Now you could do this in the Stamparatus, but you're going to bend your pouch. So I find it just about as easy to do this like this. Oh, that looks pretty good, so I'm going to move fast because remember it dries quickly. So I'm going to move my glue. I'm going to bring that right there because I want to stamp this right here in the middle. Like that. Now I'm just going to put some nice even pressure on this. I'm not going to rub it because I don't want to take a chance of it sliding. I don't want a smeared image. I want it to be nice and crisp. And then when you think it's good, lift it off. And it is beautiful. Now I'm going to try cleaning the stamp really fast because it's going to stain. It's already stained. Y'all know that. But I'm going to go ahead and just use some of that and grab my cloth. And you can see it doesn't look like it's doing anything. It is getting ink off of it, but it's not cleaning it like the Stays-On cleaner would. And even with the Stays-On cleaner, your stamps are still going to stain to a degree, but maybe not as bad. I don't know. I've never used the Stays-On cleaner. I wish I'd have bought it when I bought my ink pad, and that's what I would suggest. If you order the Stays-On ink, I would definitely get the cleaner with the ink pad. Alright, so we're going to look at this, and I can still see that it's wet a little bit, so I'm going to fan it. So while we're waiting on that to dry, we are going to need to pull in some other pieces. So one of the pieces that we're going to need would be a background to go behind this. And depending on what color you're planning on using, oh, I was going to stamp that one more time. I was going to stamp it in the second one. Well, I got to wait for this one to dry before I can do anything else. This is not a fast project. This is something that you're probably going to want to work with, you know, slowly. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to wait for this to completely dry, and then I'll come back and I will have some cardstock cut, and we'll be ready to run this through the laminator. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back, and as you can see, I ran this through the laminator. Once it was dry, I just took it over to my laminator and fed it through, and now this is enclosed inside here. So nothing will rub off, no ink is going to get on anything. Now we can do a couple of things with this. I cut out a Misty Moonlight card base, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I cut 2 mats, and this is Seaside Spray, and these are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And we are, let me look at my regular ovals. Maybe we have a larger one. So the layering ovals. Maybe we could do this one, and it would be a little bigger. Please excuse my dogs. They are playing this morning. They have been fed and taken out, and they are just, well, Toby's the one that's making the noise. He's feeling his oats this morning. I think this one will give us a little bit more space for the flower. Let me look at the regular oval. I think I'm just going to go with the regular oval instead of the stitched. I may regret this, but you know what? it's just paper, and if we need to, we can always come back. So I'm going to put that stitched oval back into its appropriate spot, which is right there. And now let's slide those back in like that. I'm going to go ahead. The first thing I want to do is I want to cut the oval out of here, and I want to go up because I want to be able to put a sentiment right there. I also want to stamp some little flowers around on here, so I am going to cut right about there. So once I get it where I know I want it to fall, I'm going to use my little Post-it flags, and I just want to hold that on there. And I'm going to go take this to my, I got something sticky right there. Little piece of adhesive. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm just going to run that oval through. Alrighty, turn that plate over, take that out. And now I'm going to lift up my Post-it note. And I do that very gently. These are the best for not tearing your cardstock. And now we have that lovely window and save this because you can use this somewhere else. I'm going to go ahead and take my bone folder and give this another good burnish. I like those nice crisp edges because that makes your card lay flat. So now we need to cut this down. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to bring it in to about a ½ an inch from the flower. It's not a rose. I'm not sure what kind of flower this is, and if any of y'all out there know, you can leave me a comment and let me know. I just know this flower is gorgeous. So what I'm doing is lining the flower up to where it's falling right about on the ½ inch mark, and I'm going to slice. And yes, the pockets cut really well on your machine, on your trimmer. I'm going to do the same thing here. I just want about a ½ an inch from the stem, and I'm going to do that all the way around. So just line your flower up to where it is right there on that ½ inch mark, and then that way it will assure that you're going to have a ½ inch all the way around your flower. And the reason that's important is you've got to have room enough to be able to put down glue dots or however you're going to adhere this inside your card. So now we have this cut down to a usable size. This is what we're going to do. Let me get a stamp because I want to do a little bit of stamping first, and I need a piece of scrap paper. And I've always got some that have been loved a little bit. You can see this it has a little love on it. How about that? So I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight. And let's see, I want to grab, you know, the paper pumpkin had those cute little flowers. Yep, there it is. Okay, my baby. My babies are always under my chair. Alright, this little flower right here is so stinking cute. And I think it lends itself well for doing the type of effect that I want. So I'm doing a tone-on-tone Misty Moonlight on Misty Moonlight. And let's get a small stamp block. I always like to gauge what size my image is and try to get a nice stamp block that will allow you to work around where you want to stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink And let's do it like this because I want to frame. I want to frame all around. And you want to take your time doing this. You don't want to be in a hurry, because what we're wanting to do is get that framed all the way around. So just take your time. Alright, and I think we've got that all done, and I fast forwarded that so that you wouldn't have to sit and watch me take all of that extra time to get that stamped just like I wanted it. But now you can see we have this beautiful, what looks like another piece of paper over top of that, but it's not. It's just using our stamps and just taking the time to stamp strategically around that oval, and I love that. I think it turned out really good, although I did get my finger in the ink. Of course, y'all know I can't do anything without getting ink on me, but this is another reason that it's great to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. You will get this little stamp set that you can use over and over and over, and you can also print out an insert for a case, and you can buy the extra cases. They sell those, and then you can put this inside the case and you have another stamp set to add to your collection, and it will be printed out with what this one was, the name of it, and also the month and everything. So that's always a plus. I'm just going to lay that over here for right now. Let's go ahead and close up our ink pad because I don't need that anymore at this minute. And what I want to do now is I want to decide exactly where I want this to fall. So I am thinking right about there. And if that looks good to you, what you want to do is turn your piece of, it's really, you can call it acetate. It was your laminating pouch. But turn it so that it's nice and straight under there. And once I get that where I want it, I'm going to use a pencil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some little registration marks right there. There. This isn't going to show because we're going to have a mat over top of this. So these marks are going to help me line this back up where I want it after I put my glue dots on. So I'm going to grab my mini glue dots and my take your pick tool, and I want to put probably about 6 or 8 glue dots on this. So I'm going to put one on each corner. And then I'm going to put one on each side. And if you have not used the mini glue dots, these are so handy in so many areas of your crafting. And I think I'm going to put one at the top and the bottom. So it's actually going to be 6, 7, 8. 8 glue dots Is that what I said earlier? Y'all know me in math. Not my strong suit. But I do know that this is going to be 8 glue dots. Not that it matters, because we're just putting them on each corner, in the middle, sides, and top and bottom. Alright, so here is where our, did I do this right? Yeah. This is where our registration marks are going to come in handy. So we are just going to lay that back down right there on those marks. That way we know, and then we're just going to fold this over onto it. Oops, and that one's not up high enough, but that's okay. We're just going to push it up. And press it down. Now you can see, yeah, this one has definitely got to go up a little bit more. So I'm just going to use that take your pick tool, and I'm just going to push on the glue, that glue dot, just to get it tucked under there a little bit higher. And press it. There's a little bit of sticky showing on there, so let's see. Just use a little spatula or something if that happens, and then see if you can just scrape it up underneath the card base. Yeah, that worked. And I don't have the sticky on the card anymore. That's what I wanted. Alright, once we got that, now that's pretty in itself, don't you think? But we're going to bring this to life by using the Seaside Spray. And I want to show you what happens when you put the Seaside Spray under there. The flower just seems like it pops off of the page. So yeah, we're going to take this and mat this side with this. That encloses everything up in there. So now you have this completely encapsulated. It is beautiful. It's going to be pressed tight against the Seaside Spray, and you have a beautiful piece of art to display on the front of your card. So let me get a little bit of this stuff out of my way, and we are going to use, I'm going to use some liquid glue. So what I want to do, you don't want to put glue in the middle, so you want to be mindful to only use glue on your outside edges. So I'm going to take and put glue across the top, down the side, and then up the other side. And you can come in a little bit here and maybe just a little bit here, like that. You just want to make sure that that middle does not have glue on it. Now we're going to lay this down just over top. And you can do this in any color you like. You do not have to use the colors I used. So there we go. There is our card. And you can see as that kind of lifts back and forth, it kind of has an appearance of it changing color a little bit. Isn't that gorgeous? So now all we need to do is take this piece, and see what I mean? I'm not even going to erase my pencil marks. Let's stamp on this first. Yeah, this will fit across here, and I love that. Your kindness is so appreciated. Isn't that pretty? And then I think I'm going to put, I don't think I'm going to use that one. I decided to stick with the flowering blooms, and I'm going to use that one. Your kindness is so appreciated. And inside I'm just going to put, thank you, I'm moved beyond words. We're using all 3 of the sentiments off of this. So thank you, I'm moved beyond words. And how nice would it be just to have a little bit of greenery. And I think I'm going to do this in the, I'm going to do the sentiment in our black. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to group this so I can pick this up all in one, so it will look like it's all one stamp. But I need that to be straight. Okay, I think that looks pretty good, don't you think? So let's get a stamp block, and this way I can pick both of these up and ink them and stamp them at the same time. So I am going to grab my Momento Tuxedo Black. I'm going to stamp off over here and make sure that I'm getting a good image, and that looks really good. So I'm going to ink it up again. And then I'm going to come right here in the middle. Let me get some of this stuff out of my way before I got ink on me, y'all. I got to be really careful not to get it on my card. I'm going to come up about to here, and I'm going to stamp. So pretty. And I've got my little Simply chamois right here that I want to clean my stamp off on. I just cleaned this morning, so I know that it's really good and wet. I'm also going to try to clean my fingers while I'm in here, and that's another good thing with the chamois. It's just water, so you can very easily clean your fingers off with it. Now, I use this for a quick clean, but when I want to do a nice thorough clean, I always go for my stamp cleaner and my Stampin' Scrub. Y'all know how much I love that Stampin' Scrub. It is my go-to. So now I thought it would be nice if we just kind of put a little bit of this greenery right here. And you know, the other day I taught y'all Miro stamping. This would be a perfect card to do the Miro stamping on. So why don't we try? We are going to use, we're going to use that same ink. So I'm going to grab my little silicone craft sheet. And this is a nice clean one, at least I hope it is. And I'm not going to use the Stamparatus for this, or should I? Yeah, let's grab the Stamparatus. I'm afraid not to use it. I'm going to move that over out of the way, because anytime that you're stamping and using that for a mirror image, it is really a great idea to do it on the Stamparatus, because to get a good image that's going to transfer, you really need to stamp it more than once. So I'm going to take, I think I might leave that pad in there. Yeah, let's leave that pad in there. And put the lid back on my glue so we don't have a mess. And I'm going to put my silicone craft sheet right here. And it doesn't feel clean to me, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just squirt this off with some water. And that's nothing but just water. And then I'm just going to wipe it with a microfiber cloth. I just felt like it might have had a little bit of grit on it. And you don't want this to have any grit on it when you're doing this procedure. So you really want a nice, clean, no little crumbs of paper or glue or anything. So it's a good idea to have one of these that's dedicated just to your mirror stamping. They're not that expensive. I think they're $6, I believe. Okay, I'm going to take and put that up there to the top. And I am going to decide where I want it to stamp, and I think right there is good. And let's grab our Momento ink, and I'm just going to ink this up. And then we're going to stamp it down. Yeah, with that mat under there, you might not have to do it but twice. That looks pretty good. Alright. So now we're going to take this off of our Stamparatus. I am going to grab my chamois, because I want to clean the stamp. The reason I need to clean it is I'm going to be taking it off to use it. So I don't want to get ink on my fingers, so there we go. So now we can just lay our Stamparatus out of the way. And we can bring our card base, our card mat back in. And now we want to lay this where we want this to fall. And I want it to be right here, and I want it to be looking like it's wrapping from the corner. So I'm going to lay that down. And remember what I said, don't rub, just press. And I'm sorry that I don't have y'all quite in frame. Sometimes I forget to look up and see if you can see what I'm doing, but all I'm doing is putting gentle, even press, press, press on that silicone mat. And then we're going to lift it, and there's our image. It is a little fuzzy, but you know what? It's okay. Now I want to stamp that same image, and I need a stamp block, so I'm just going to pull these two off. Set those up there, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to ink it up. And we're going to stamp this one right there. And I think that looks beautiful, and it just adds that little extra something to our card. Now if you wanted to go back, you could go back with that tiny stamp. Did I put that back on the stamp block? I mean off of the stamp block? I can't remember. The one that we used, the little flower one? I'm not sure. We'll look for it. I might have put it back with the paper pumpkin. I did. It's right here. So before I go any further, I want to clean this off. So I'm going to just wipe that off. You can clean it like this, or you can clean it with your stamp cleaner. And I'll come back and give that a good clean after the video's over. Alright, so now this is ready to go inside of our card. So I'm going to raise that up, and then I'm going to put some liquid glue, and I'm going to put this down just like that. And you want to be careful to try to get this to look as even as this. So let's go ahead and grab our glue. Let's put this, cover this up before I stick my hand in it. And this one we can put glue all over because we don't have a window that we need to protect from glue. So this one we can get glue all over it, just to make sure we get a good adhesion. And like I said, you want to be mindful that you're getting a nice, even matching up with this side. Isn't that pretty? How gorgeous that looks. And there's our card. Oh, not quite. I'm sorry. I didn't put my sentiment on the front. For the front, I'm going to grab a strip of that Seaside Spray. And look at this. This is going to be perfect. And we're going to make a little banner. So I'm going to stamp this like right here in the middle. Let's grab a stamp block that will accommodate. And I think this one will. And let's ink this up. And I think with this I want to go with the Misty Moonlight ink. I just think that will be pretty and it will kind of tie everything together. So I'm going to ink this up. Stamp. Oh yeah. Very pretty. I'm getting this right in the middle and kind of down to the bottom. Oh, isn't that lovely? I'm here to tell y'all the Stampin' Up inks and their stamp sets are phenomenal. If you have not tried their stamps and ink, you have got, I mean, just order one ink pad. Get a pretty blue or a red. Now the Momento ink, you might be familiar with it. It is a, it's a little bit different because of the fact that it is, you can use the alcohol markers with it. So you don't always get as good an image, but with any of the Stampin', classic Stampin' pads, I'm here to tell you, oh my goodness, is that not gorgeous? Oh, I love it. Okay, so I need to decide how I want to do the banner on this. All right, let's get our trimmer up here. And what I want to do is I want to trim, let's see, let's trim close to this side. So I'm getting up fairly close to the your. And you can eyeball this. This isn't no right or wrong way. It's just whatever you like. And I'm going to take about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch off of that side. And I've got a little banner punch. Move, baby. Move, move. Move. I always have to get my puppies out of my way before I can move my chair. This right here will give us a beautiful little indentation. So what you want to do is you want to get it where you want it, just like that. And this is the banner triple punch. So you want to get that lined up right where you want it, just like that. You want to make sure it's nice and even. And punch. And look at that. Just that simple. You got a beautiful little banner. And when you put this down on your card, you can decide exactly where you want it to fall. Whether you want it to come all the way over to here, or if you want it to fall in the middle. I think I like it in the middle. So I want to pop this up. So I'm going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. Then take your pick tool and wrangle these off. Now let's bring the card back over, and I am going to put that down right about there. Isn't that lovely? What a soft, beautiful unusual. And we all, I know as crafters, we always are looking for that next little wow factor in a card. And I think this delivers it. Look how gorgeous that is. Ah, I love this. I think it turned out beautiful. I love the blues. But I also want to show you one other thing that you can do. And I was playing with these, so some of them have glue on them, but look at, let me get a piece of white cardstock to lay that against. You can color those with your alcohol markers. Look how beautiful that is. So we're going to come back and we'll make another card using the alcohol markers, but I'm going to show you how simple it is to do that. I stamped one and this one didn't come out quite as good as I liked. So let's try coloring it with our markers. So I'm going to lay it down like that, and I'm going to grab, let's get the Misty Moonlight, and I've got my light and dark. And I'm going to start out, I'm going to use the little bullet tip, and I'm going to come in here and just lay down some color. Now you got to remember that you're not coloring the actual image, you're coloring on top of it. But you can already see that we've got color on it. So all you want to do is just come in and put your color down on your petals. And this will look like it's pooling a little bit, but it will dry, and the alcohol dries really fast. So it's really a great way to enhance already what's a beautiful card. And this way you can put a piece of white behind it, and what a beauty that is. So now I'm going to come back with the darker. This one I'm going to use the brush tip because I want to accentuate the little veins. Some of the darker petals. And this is going to help outline what wasn't a great image to make it a very pretty image. So we'll go back with the other one, but we're going to let that dry just for a minute. While that's drying, I'm going to grab my, this is my shaded spruce, and I'm going to do the light one. And all I want to do is get a little color on the leaves so that you can tell that those are leaves. Maybe a little bit here on the stem. Just like that. I'm going to fan that just a little bit to help that alcohol dry. And then I'm going to come back with my light Misty Moonlight. And I'm just going to do the same thing we would do with any other. I'm going to just blend those colors together. Now even this bad image is looking gorgeous. So that's how you can actually add color to these, and then you can cut that out. But you can see right there in the middle, I didn't get a good stamp. But coloring it does give you the opportunity to make that look like a shaded spot, especially when you're putting it against the white paper. Now, you might say, well, what would it look like against blue paper? And I have a piece of blue. So let's see. There it is against blue, and that actually even camouflages it even more. So let me zoom you in. And I think it's just gorgeous. So, you know, you can do it on the white, and it just looks like it's more highlighted right there in the middle. Or you can do it on this and not quite as much. You still have that little bit of highlighting there. So I think it's a lovely technique no matter what. And you're limitless with your colors, because the fact that you can color this with whatever colors you like. So let's come back out. And there is our card for today. I hope that you have enjoyed the technique. I hope you learned something new, because this was totally new to me. And you know, a lot of times people say, oh, you copied somebody's card. Well, there's a term with Stampin' Up that's called you case a card. And casing is simply copy and share everything. So when I see a demonstrator do something and I love it and I want to do it, maybe I do it, but I change it up a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all draw. It was after I did my alcohol markers that I saw with the vellum, and then I saw lots and lots of people doing it. So I think every idea comes from somewhere. And do we ever truly know the true creator of that technique? No. I know I was playing around and just decided to play, and I found that it worked. And then after that I saw demonstrator after demonstrator. But perhaps somebody else had done it before me. I don't know. But it's okay for us to copy and share everything. Or in other words, case someone else's card. We can case things out of the catalog. We can case other things that we see on Pinterest. So it is a form of gratitude and thank you to whoever created it. So I hope you enjoyed this. God bless and keep you always. I love you very much. And until we craft again, always remember this. Let everything you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is so worthy of our love, our praise, and our honor. And until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.